Come on! Yes, we've done it! We've hit Friday. I am so happy. We're getting to the end of this week. And it's been such a great week, hasn't it? This week has been so refreshing for me. So refreshing for me to remind myself, at least, of how good God is and how His grace is so good. How phenomenal His grace is. And we're looking at probably one of the most astounding passages that we've had to look at this week, where it says God's grace is sufficient. That's what we're looking at. And it says this in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. That's the passage we're looking at. And in case you haven't read it, I'm going to read it now. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. Wow. My grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. Wow, in our weakness, in our depravity, in our lack of ability, His power is made perfect, and His grace is sufficient. And Paul's response to this is, therefore, I will boast. I will boast all the more because of my lack of ability, of my weakness. I will boast, not just boast, he's boasting gladly. He could not be happier to boast about his weakness, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. It is so good that when we're not up to scratch, when we can't hit the mark, it is in that weakness that God's power is made perfect. Throughout this week, we have been learning that God has given us this gift of grace. However, we need to ask why He has given it as a gift and not made us work for it. Why give us such a perfect gift that is completely sufficient and covers all of our sins and not make us work for it? Why? Everywhere else in Scripture, everywhere else we see the curse that God put on Adam is that he would need to toil to get something out of the ground. But God chooses, no, I'm not going to make you work to live. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to you as a gift. Why? Well, the reason was stated in day 2, on Tuesday, when we read Ephesians chapter 2, verse 9. And it's also stated again in our Bible passage for today. The reason is so that we cannot boast because of ourselves. We cannot even boast that the faith we have is our own. I saw this Charles Spurgeon quote while scrolling through Instagram, I think just yesterday. And he said, I am so glad that we do not have to work for our faith. Because if we did and I got to heaven, I'm paraphrasing slightly, but if we did and I got to heaven, I would hate having all of eternity people boasting about how incredible they were. It would almost be hell. Because all of eternity you're hearing people drone on and on about how great they are. But we can't boast because it's a gift. We can't even boast in the faith we have. We can't boast in the grace we have. We can't boast in the salvation we have. We can't boast in anything. We can't boast in the spiritual gifts. We spoke about this on Wednesday, how we cannot boast in anything because the very breath in our lungs is a gift from God. So as a result of God giving us everything as a gift, everything good that is in us, and everything good that comes from us, ultimately comes from God. We cannot boast in anything. As someone who struggles myself quite a bit with arrogance, quite a bit with pride, this is an extremely humbling passage. I I look at this passage and I am immensely challenged and convicted. Because I look at this and I go, do I take credit for the stuff God's doing in me? And the answer is I do. I do. I look at myself and I think, wow, I'm great. When in reality, I'm nothing without God. And I don't give him the glory for that anywhere near as much as I should. That is how God's power is made perfect in our weakness. It's made perfect in our weakness because we give glory to him, because of everything he's given us. That's why God gives us these things as a gift, so that we can glorify him and not boast of ourselves. Let's glorify God today for his goodness, his generosity, and his power. I've so thoroughly enjoyed having this week with you guys, and I wish you all the best for the rest of this weekend. And yeah, I'll see you hopefully this Sunday. Bye.